All righty, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to today's Tech Tuesday. We are going to be discussing some new features and integrations in our Canvas LMS. Before we begin, I just wanted to let everyone know, well, one, welcome, thank you for coming. Two, we are recording the session. So after the session is over, I'll be putting this video recording online so that I can send it to you via email, and you can refer to it later, or even share it with some of your colleagues who may be using Canvas and have questions about it. And I'll also be sending any helpful links or information that Rob discusses today. We have Rob Dietz from our Educational Technologies group, who is kind of our guru on instructional technology and design. So thank you so much, Rob, for joining us. We really appreciate it.
Thank you, Vanessa. Thanks for continuing your Tech Tuesday series. And yeah, today we're going to talk about Canvas LMS. So this is Weill Cornell's academic learning management system. A lot of what we handle with the learning management system is course data. So courses are created in the system, students are enrolled based on their registration, and grades and progress in the courses can be reported on. And we're starting to use Canvas even outside of the normal medical school curriculum a bit now, so I'm going to touch on that a little later here. So Canvas is one of these ed tech platforms that's really grown during the pandemic as the need for virtual learning has exploded. So lots of what used to be in-person training and in-person courses became online courses. Lots of hybrid courses that already had an online component started to lean a little more heavily on those platforms. And so Canvas has added a lot of new features, and I wanted to just go over a few of those today. So first of all, the rich content editor. So we've got basically any area in Canvas where you need to input text, images, media, uses the rich content editor. And they made some improvements to the user interface to allow customization and some accessibility features. So here you can see on top, this is the old rich content editor. This is probably what you're more familiar with. As of mid-January, they made the new rich content editor the default. So the one on the bottom there is what it looks like now by default and what it will continue to look like moving forward. You can see some of the elements are really the same. They're just put in different places, and then there are some new elements added there. So, just quickly, here's your text bolding, italicizing, underlining, etc. That shows up here. HTML editor used to be up here, and the keyboard shortcuts, now that's moved down to the bottom here and here. Still has the accessibility checker, which we're going to touch on in this presentation. And then I think what looks the most different is you've got this menu at the top here that just allows you to do a little bit more keyboarding around if you know your keyboard shortcuts. So where in Canvas can you use the rich content editor? I've got that listed here. Basically anywhere that you need to put in some rich content and text. So again, this is our new editor, and the menu bar displays at the top. So this is really just a different way to access all these other tools that you have down here. And it's designed for accessible use. So if someone is mobility challenged, they can just use their keyboard to tab around and use their keyboard shortcuts to access all of the features you see here. Next, if you happen to have your browser window a little bit skinnier and collapsed, you see you've got the options drop down, just showing you that you're not seeing all the tools because your browser window is not wide enough. Another new feature, autosave. So if you are editing a page, some content in Canvas, and you have to get distracted by another app or another website, and then you come back to it and you forgot to save those changes and closed it, then the next time you reopen that page in Canvas, it'll let you know that you've got some new content that you started on but never saved. Links, similar to the old way of linking, you have options to link out to the World Wide Web or right within the Canvas site itself. So within your course, you can link to any piece of content there. And another new thing, so this is really what sparked my wanting to do this presentation, is some of the features that you used to see right in front of you are now kind of put in these drop menus, like some of the integrated tools we have with Weill Cornell's Canvas are now showing under the apps menu. So that little electrical plug there. And we're going to talk more about these integrations later in the presentation. These just happen to be some of the integrations that work in the rich content editor. So things that you can put right on your page. And happy to answer any questions you might have on the rich content editor. There is a way to move back to the old editor if you really need it, but I would caution you against that, because soon the new rich content editor is all we're going to have.
I don't see any questions in the chat yet, but everyone, please feel free to post questions at any point during the presentation in the chat button or the chat box, and we'll make sure that they're answered.
Great, and yeah, we'll take more questions at the end too, if anything comes up for the rich content editor. The next thing I want to go over today, accessibility. So we've got a big push these days for increased inclusion and accessibility. Canvas has a lot of built-in features to help us achieve that. A few blurbs from the Canvas documents. They are committed to accessibility standards through World Wide Web Consortium and government agencies, basically helping to make Canvas sites usable for people on screen readers if they need keyboard shortcuts. So mostly visual impairment or mobility impairment. And so the content or the Canvas accessibility checker helps us to kind of get things in shape. Most of the things I notice when I look around at the Canvas sites through the checker, headers and lists and tables. So as long as these are real HTML headers with a logical structure, lists are real lists and not just bullet points that look like lists in HTML, and tables that have a clear organization and structure. And probably overall image descriptions are one of the largest issues I see. So imagine you're looking at some training content and you're presented with an image. You need to help a user who maybe can't see as well as you help them know what that image is about, and you do that with just a simple text description. So really 1 or 2 sentences that describe the contents of that image. And then contrast between your text and your background of the web page is another issue that this accessibility checker can help with. So to work with the accessibility checker, it's located right there at the bottom of the RCE. And when you start it, it'll tell you something like, hey, there's 3 issues on this page. The first issue is this, and then it proposes a way to remedy that. So in this case, it noticed that there was not a alt text or a description of the image, so it's offering you a place to put in that here. Oftentimes people end up putting in, or maybe it just defaults to putting in the file name of the image, and that's not really very descriptive to a person with visual impairment. Once you've remedied all the issues, then Canvas will give you this happy little balloon picture here showing you that this content checks out. Any questions on accessibility in Canvas content?
I
Yeah.
didn't see any questions on accessibility yet, but on the topic you discussed before about integrations, Sharon asked, would you please show examples of how or why we connect to Box, etc., to rich content?
Yeah, and I have all of those integrations here in the very next part of the presentation, so I'll go over that with Box. Basically, imagine you're in Canvas and you're adding content. You can add a document from your Canvas files. That's one way you could get a document to your learners. Another way would be through Box or OneDrive. You can share your file there. So basically just adding a link to the file in the cloud storage drive rather than holding it in Canvas in the files area. Anything at all about accessibility?
Not yet.
Okay.
But Sharon says thank you.
I'll go on to the integrations here. These are some of the other Weill Cornell technologies we have integrated with Canvas. Probably familiar with most of these from other areas. Some of them are, only used by certain departments. Others are, for everybody. The first one, probably our biggest integration and the one we use the most, is the Panopto video platform. And so this integration with Canvas allows course admins to put videos into each Canvas course, and the permissions for viewing the videos is inherited from the Canvas student roster. So if you have a Canvas course that's integrated with Panopto, any lectures can be recorded in a corresponding Panopto folder that's named the same as the Canvas course site. And any teachers in that course can add videos or record new videos. Any student in the course will be able to view those videos. This one comes in 2 places in Canvas. We have it, you can actually embed videos in the RCE within the page itself, or we also have a menu, a tools menu option where you can just view all the videos for a course. A little bit about what that looks like. So this is an example of inserting a video from Panopto into a Canvas page. And you can see there's a few options there for how you'd like that to appear in the video player. And then once that's in, you get the player right there in your page content. The next one, this one's kind of big, kind of complicated, but has a lot of promise for us. O365, which also includes OneDrive and Microsoft Teams. That integration does many things. So you can just use OneDrive for cloud storage, similar to Box, where you can just bring in files, share files within a course. Collaboration, this would allow you to use any Microsoft Office document type, like Word, PowerPoint, etc., and actually collaborate with students or with teachers and students together within a Canvas course. And then the video conferencing options that Microsoft Teams offers. So if you are using Teams instead of Zoom, for example, you can put your class video conferences right there in your Canvas course and have an easy link for students to use. Back to the question we had earlier. So yeah, Box. This one can be added, either via the rich content editor within a page or on the tools menu in Canvas. So many of these integrations show up just right there on the left side of your Canvas course as you enable the tool, if that's useful to you. And again, this is just an alternative to putting your files within the Canvas files area. Zoom. So Zoom and Canvas, right now we have a simple integration that just puts this in our tools menu. So it's basically puts your Zoom page or your own Zoom homepage within the Canvas tools alongside the other tools. A future integration that we're working on would allow you to actually schedule meetings and have your Zoom calendar and your Canvas calendar synchronized. If you just have a course and you want to have a simple, just a Zoom reusable recurring meeting, or even the teacher's personal Zoom ID, that's a good way to use Zoom within Canvas. So every time the class meets, the students just have to select the Zoom link in the tools menu and they're in the meeting. Canvas also can work with Poll Everywhere. So with Poll Everywhere polls, it's possible to have graded activities. So if you wanted to have your class imported into Poll Everywhere, so that every time you post an activity, you're allowing your class to take it, and you're even allowing their answers to be graded, that can work with Canvas. So it's basically a two-way integration where you can bring the roster of students from Canvas into Poll Everywhere, and then once they've taken the activity, those graded activities will move into Canvas, into the gradebook. Some departments use ExamSoft for secure assessments. And again, this is a two-way integration with Canvas. We take a course that's in Canvas and import that into ExamSoft along with the student roster. And then any secure assessments taken by the students are usually automatically graded in ExamSoft, and then those grades get pushed into the Canvas gradebook. Another integration we have is Turnitin, plagiarism prevention platform. So this tests for originality in writing assignments, for example. This is something we use from Cornell University's Turnitin license, and faculty and staff are able to use it either for as a standalone tool, just using Turnitin, or along with Canvas. And using it with Canvas allows you to just create certain types of assignments that then the writing gets put through the Turnitin originality database and then returns a score for the instructor to see. The last integration I wanted to cover today, this is a custom app that we've built right in ETG. Claude, our developer, created this for us. So this is a way to automatically create Canvas accounts for users who are not inside of Weill Cornell or NYP or any of our affiliated institutions. Basically, just take a Excel file here and import it into the tool. And then that tells you if you were successful or not, how many students were added. And then any new account would be that this email sent to the user to finish creating their account by setting their own password. So this wouldn't use your CWID or any of those IDs. This is just a local Canvas account. So then these users would log in with that option on the bottom there. And this has helped us with some of our courses we work on that are outside the medical school curriculum. We even have a way to let course admins or teachers enroll students in their courses rather than having it synchronized with the student information system. Creating new accounts for users who are within Weill Cornell and affiliated institutions still requires basically just a ticket for ETG to create those, and we can create those in batches as needed. Any questions on these integrations or any desire for future integrations that we haven't even thought of yet?
We have a couple of questions about this actually. William asked, is there a Qualtrics integration as well, or maybe there's plans for one? I'm not sure.
I think there might be. We haven't had anyone ask about that before. So we can definitely look at that. If you want to just email me directly, I'd be happy to look that up and see what your specific use case is and see if that could be handled. Canvas has its own survey tool built in, so that's a obvious place to start when you're wanting to do surveys within Canvas. And then, as we mentioned, we do have the Poll Everywhere integration with Canvas, and that can do surveys as well.
We got a question from Leora. What permissions are necessary in Panopto for it to be accessed via Canvas? And is there a difference between the video being embedded versus linked to Panopto?
Yeah, okay, so the first part, what permissions are required? Yeah, I'm not sure I understand the very first part of that. Could you repeat that, Vanessa?
Oh, the first question, what permissions are necessary in Panopto for it to be accessed via Canvas?
Okay, so mainly with the built-in integration, as long as you have a course in Canvas, then you can get a corresponding Panopto folder that's synchronized to that course. So you don't have, if you just use the normal integration, you don't have to do anything manually with permissions. It just happens, and it just assumes the permissions that are in the Canvas course. So any teachers or course admins will have creator access in the corresponding Panopto folder, and any student in the Canvas course will have viewer access. So you don't have to do anything with the permissions. Anyone who can access the Canvas course, which requires login and has security, will be able to see those Panopto videos that are related to the course. And then the question about embedding versus linking, it's really just a kind of your own preference for how you want users to view the videos. When you embed a video, a Panopto video into a Canvas page, and you're setting up the player that's going to appear, you can actually check a box that says allows users to view this in Panopto or not, not include that link. So you do have that flexibility.
We had a follow-up question from Leora about that.
Sure.
So apparently there's been issues where the permissions weren't correct in Panopto, so people couldn't access the video. And do we need to set up a ticket to have a corresponding Panopto folder?
No, I mean, I think no, you don't need to. It's really just, it's a built-in feature. So you can add Panopto recordings to any course, just like you can add, any of these other integrated tools like Zoom or Box or O365. You can add them in your tools menu, just the way you would either include something like quizzes or assignments in your tools menu, or leave them out. It's up to you. So happy to work with you individually on that, Leora, and make sure that that's working for you.
And then a question from Ayana. Is there anything we should know about how Panopto videos and the larger Canvas platform run on a mobile device?
Yeah, I mean, they run great. So both apps have an actual iOS and Android version. So you can use those on your smartphone. You can use them on your tablet. I would, there's definitely limitations on what you can see on a smartphone as far as content, but certainly on a tablet, they both work well. We install the mobile apps by default for all the incoming med students. So they get their iPads, they get their Canvas student app, they get their Panopto app. All of that comes standard, and definitely works.
That's it for questions regarding integrations, if you want to move on to the next part.
Great. So just wanted to touch on this. We've started, expanding the use of Canvas a little bit. So some, departments have training needs that Canvas is well suited for, and we've been able to kind of expand that a little bit, and using some of these integrated tools, such as the ETG Canvas Auto Accounts Creation tool, lets departments kind of manage their own student enrollment or training enrollment there. Some of the sites, just as examples, we've got the Introduction to Telemedicine. This is a pretty large course by now, from the Weill Cornell Center for Virtual Care. There's the nursing department has the Pediatric Emergency Nursing Curriculum, or pencil. Anesthesiology has a POCUS training course in our Canvas. And even the ITS library has a course modules on information literacy. So again, these are ways to use the Canvas LMS that don't rely on having actual students registering for actual courses in the registration system. Just to look at one of those courses. So this is what the Introduction to Telemedicine course looks like. At this point, I think it has about 430 enrolled students from Weill Cornell, NYP, Columbia, and even outside institutions. So that's basically my presentation. Any other questions from using Canvas, for alternative types of training and courses, and then also, just anything from the rest of the presentation?
I don't see any yet, although we're going to be on for a minute or so, just in case somebody's typing something out. There was some information that Doug Cohen, our Director of Educational Technologies, put in the chat regarding that Panopto permissions issue. So, if you're interested in that, please take a look at the thread regarding the permissions about that. He put some really good detail in there.
Thanks for that, Doug.
I don't see any questions, so we can start to wrap up the session. Thank you so much, Rob, for going through all of these new features with us today. Just double checking that. Nope, no question. What I'm going to do is, again, guys, I have all of your emails since you've registered. So I'm going to put this recording online and make sure that you get a copy of it, as well as any other information that Rob has that could be helpful for you when you navigate your Canvas courses. Rob, is there anything else you want to say before we head out?
No, yeah, I'll include a version of this slide deck that includes some additional links and support guides related to the topics. So thanks everybody for your interest in Canvas, and thanks Vanessa for running the series.
No problem. Have a great day, everyone.